Hey guys, Chris from Provo Beast Audio Installation, and in today's video we're going to be unboxing this ultra compact 5-channel amplifier by Skar. This is the SK-M9005D. In this unboxing we're going to get this thing all pulled apart to show you everything that it comes with and some of the specifications. Let's get started. Now before we dive into this, a couple of things to just note. This is part of Skar Audio's ultra compact line, and what's cool about this, even at its very small footprint, can do 900 watts RMS across the 5 channels. It is a Class D amplifier. Now the first 4 channels are designated for typically door speakers or interior speakers. You have 4 channels of output, and then the 5th channel is dedicated to a subwoofer output. Now speaking of that power output, at 4 ohms the 4 channels can do 55 watts, or at 2 ohms those 4 channels can do 85 watts. Now for the 5th channel, or the sub channel, at 4 ohms it does 300 watts RMS at 14.4 volts. And at 2 ohms, this thing can handle 450 watts RMS at that single channel for the sub. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing pulled apart. Now Skar makes it really well known not to mount your Skar amplifier to the box. Keep that in mind. So before we grab the amp here, on the outsides, you have little boxes here. Let's see what's in this one. Oh, looks like your subwoofer control. Let's check the other side here. Looks like they give you an Allen wrench for your connectors. You have your subwoofer control cable. So using the volume knob here, this is what's going to be used. It looks like an aux cable. We have our speaker output harness. Essentially here, because this doesn't have typical speaker outputs because of its ultra compact design, they include in the box this connector, this harness, and these will wire into your speaker outputs wherever you're sending the power. Underneath the amp, we got our manual. Finally, the amp itself. Alright, so we got this thing all pulled apart here. First and foremost, just looking at the size of this amplifier compared to my hand, it's amazing that something of this size can put out 900 watts RMS. Now dimensions on this amplifier, lengthwise, are looking at about 12.4 inches, almost 12.5 there. Width here we have 4.6 inches, and height we have 1.7 inches. Again, really small footprint. It's nice and versatile, so you can really hide it in a lot of different places within the vehicle. Now before we look at the side terminals and everything there, let's go ahead and look at the accessories. Now it comes with a nice manual. This manual obviously fits other models as well, and our bass knob. Now our bass knob is a nice rigid design here. It has a nice good feedback to it. Again, it's an aux port style cable, so really if you need a longer or a shorter cord, you can actually just use a generic aux. It comes with this Allen wrench for your power terminals. You don't have speaker terminals on this. Instead we have this speaker harness, so you'll use this only for your power, ground, and remote terminals. Then finally we have our speaker harness. So pulling this all apart here, you have your standard wiring colors right here. So white's your front left, gray's your front right, green is your rear left, and then violet or purple is your rear right. Each pair has a black stripe, which is your negative wire. So those are your speaker outputs there. Nice copper ends. So looking at these ones, actually the yellows are your subwoofer output positive, and your blues are your subwoofer output negative, your 5th channel. And it's on the same. Just to increase the gauge size, they doubled the gauge. So this essentially, we'd combine these together on both ends and then run them, extend the wire to our subwoofer. So that's how that works. Let's take a closer look at our amplifier terminals. Alright, so let's look at the input side of our amplifier here. Starting on the left hand side, we have all our channels of input. Now there are 6 RCA channels of input, but your 5th channel is split between 2 RCA, so generally it's 5 channels here. You got channel 1, 2, 3, and 4. So those are generally your interior speakers of input, and then your channel 5 is split between these 2 RCA inputs. So 5 channels of input there. And then here's all your adjustments. So channel 1 and 2 are going to be on the same adjustment side. Channel 3 and 4, same thing, they're paired together. So channel 1 and 2, here's your gain. This allows you to match the sensitivity output of whatever radio you're pairing this to. It's not a volume knob. It's an opportunity to match that gain or that output of your radio so you don't have any distortion in your speakers. Now you have a crossover here. This is your crossover level adjustment, and you can set that crossover either as a high pass, full pass, or low pass. So depending on your setup and what you're using the amplifier for, you can do 1, 2, or 3. Generally speaking, you're probably going to use a high pass, as this will be designed more for your interior door speakers. Same thing with channel 3 and 4. You have your gain, your crossover, and your high pass, low pass, or full pass filter here. Now down here is your 5th channel. We have our gain for our subwoofer. We have our low pass filter here as well. And we have a bass boost option. Now additionally, we have our port for our bass knob. Generally speaking, you try not to use bass boost in most circumstances, as it just adds more distortion to your output. So if you're going to use bass boost, make sure you're tuning everything and your gain with that bass boost using a distortion detector of some kind. So that's just about everything on this side of the amplifier. Let's flip it over to check out the terminal side. So here's the terminal side of the amplifier. We have ground, constant power from the battery, and your remote. There are 8 gauge connections here. And then we have our output. Now generally speaking, because of the compact size of this amplifier, Skar has opted for this harness style output here. Again, this is where our harness adapter will just plug into. Now if you didn't know what color did what of your harness adapter, the nice thing is next to each pin, they've identified what each pin does. So here is your channel 1 of positive and negative. Channel 2 is positive and negative. Channel 3 is down here, positive and negative. Channel 4 is positive and negative. And then here's your 5th channel again, going straight down. These are both positives for your sub, both negatives for your sub. Now this can be bridged down to 3 channels instead of 5. You can bridge the 1st and 2nd channel, 3rd and 4th channel together. Just totally up to you and your configuration. Last couple of things to note on this amplifier. Signal to noise ratio, or the sensitivity of the amplifier, is 85 dB. Low level gain input, so through our RCAs, can handle between 8 volts all the way down to 0.2 volts. Now our fuse rating for this amplifier is around 80 amps. Now you don't see external fuses here, so extremely important that you do add a fuse to your power wire for this amplifier. And it does have 4-way protection circuitry built in, thermal voltage speaker and DC offset. So that's about it for this amplifier. There is a ton more information that we can obviously talk about and go through from Skar, but we'll link most of that down in the description here for you, and a link to this amplifier in the event you want to pick one up for yourself. If you want to see this amplifier in action, we're going to be installing this in a Mazda 6, where it's going to be powering our door speakers as well as a 10-inch Skar Audio sub. Be sure to hit that like button if you like what you saw, and don't forget to subscribe. We post great content on the channel all the time, and we will see you in the next video.